He says, no, I'm going somewhere. Today is a very special day, a historic day. And I understand why, because Orlando, I was born in Orlando, I was born in Soweto, but from a family perspective, Orlando introduced my father to my mother. So there was a deep sense of historical bond. And he went to the airport and saw Dr. Khoza surrounded by all sorts of pirate supporters. And we saw a beautiful picture because Khoza ran to him and gave him the Champions Cup. Very, very proud. Because for him, over many, many years as a pirate supporter, it was a very special moment. So I want to thank Dr. Irvin Khoza for being here and for the good work he's doing as president of the PSL. I want to thank our brothers, all the presidents who are here, member association presidents. I can't express in words how honored I am and how grateful I am and how grateful all of us are. This is not a Patrice Motsepe undertaking. This is an undertaking by all of us. I know from many years in business, no leader succeeds on his own. A leader is only as good as the quality of people he has the privilege and the honor to work with. So I'm deeply honored and deeply grateful for all of our presidents who are here. Muito obrigado, Presidente. Muito obrigado, President. And can I just ask you that we clap hands? My brother, Pinnick. It's a very special partnership between all of our people on the continent and a very special relationship between myself and all the presidents and a very special relationship with my brother from Nigeria. And finally, I want to thank my wife who's here. You know, they say behind every man, my father said, in front of every man is a smarter, brighter, more capable woman who makes him what he is. So thank you so much. And to our wonderful 3 boys who are here. But and our leadership from SAFA, Natasha, our wonderful sister, and the whole leadership, thank you so much. The EXCO of SAFA, can we clap hands for them as well, okay? And then I want to recognize my brother, Moise, very special history with Moise. Although his club always beats my club, you know, but we are still family. We were not put together by football. Khoza's club, I can't say Khoza's club, I should say the Motsepe family club, because Khoza causes division in the family, you know, serious division. And I don't want members of the Motsepe family to vote whether they like Sundowns or Pirates. I know I'll lose, so don't ask them for votes because of the DPs. Of course, I'm president of Mamelodi Sundowns until if I'm honored and privileged, I'll have to step aside. But for now, very proud of the wonderful work that my brother, Dr. Khoza, is doing. And Moise, very proud of you. And thank you so much. Moise was in Sudan, came specially from Sudan, because he thought it's important to give a message here that not only of the deep personal ties, but also that we are all Africans. Whether you speak French or Portuguese, that's the beauty, in fact, that all of us can speak different languages. Thanks so much. Now, President Infantino came here a few days ago, and he emphasized the message of unity, and that is very, very important. And I want to take this opportunity to wish all of the candidates, all of my friends and my brothers who are standing as presidents for CAF, my brother from Senegal, my brother from Cote d'Ivoire, my brother from Mauritania. I really wish them all of the best, good health, and we will work together. The requirements of African football can only be achieved, and also the opportunities and the growth when all of us work together. It doesn't matter who wins the presidency. The most important thing is for all of us to work together. And I will give whatever support and cooperation I can. Can we clap hands for them, please? Two quick issues before I go quickly into the 10-point action plan. And because you've got the 10-point action plan, I'm going to go a bit faster. Let me start by correcting a matter of misinterpretation and maybe misinformation and maybe even more than misinformation and misinterpretation. Minister Nathi Mthethwa announced very clearly that if the presidency of CAF is won by a South African, and it's not in our hands, it's in the hands of the presidents of Africa. But if the South African candidate wins, who in fact is not a South African candidate, is an African candidate, we will not move the headquarters of CAF from Cairo to Johannesburg. I mean, Minister Mthethwa made it so clear. 2 days afterwards, I arrived in Cairo, and two of the most prominent leaders, and I don't want to mention their name, came to me and said, but how can your minister say that if you win, we're going to move the CAF headquarters from Cairo to South Africa? So just for the record, there is no intention, and I am personally committed to make sure that the history, the pride, and the good work that the people of Cairo has done, and of course, the support they've received from Africa remains in place. So there is no intention. I'm not going to be part, my candidacy has got nothing to do with moving the headquarters of CAF from Cairo to South Africa. So I want to correct that. And as I said, the minister said so, I said so, and there's still this misinformation which is not correct. Okay? Yeah. Can I just ask in humility, all of our presidents who are here, let them just stand up and fast to clap hands. The president from Eswatini, can you please stand up? President of Angola, obrigado. President of Benin, President of Mozambique, President of Zimbabwe, and Moise, for today you're also a president. Stand up. Can we clap hands for them, okay? These are all our presidents who are here with us. And of course, our brother from Nigeria, I forget because his family, and of course, our president of COSAFA. Thank you so much. We are so honored. So I've corrected the first, thank you so much. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. So I've corrected the first misperception. The second one is that there is, again, misinformation that when I am elected, or when I'm honored to be president of CAF, we are going to use my position as president to undermine, disadvantage, and embarrass Morocco. Incorrect. Totally, totally incorrect. False. And it's very, very important. The rules and regulation of being president of CAF are very clear. And not only do I agree with those rules that you don't pursue politics in sport. Sport is there to unite all our people. So I am going to, at all times, make a humble contribution to use sport to unite all Africans. And I'll tell you more in terms of some of the issues in relation to the importance of sport. So I believe in the policies that we should use sports to unite, to create jobs, to create a better future. And also, under no circumstances will my presidency be used to disrespect, to undermine, to embarrass any country, whether it's Morocco or any other country. And as I said, I need to correct this because it's misinformation. In fact, the opposite is true. I am going to work hard to use football to unite all of our people on the continent and work together and build ties and cooperation. And of course, I grew up in Nelson Mandela's political party organization. I have to respect the rules, the policies of my organization. And I have to respect the rules and policies of my government. And at all times, I will respect the rules, the laws of my organization, Nelson Mandela's organization, and I will also respect the rules and policies of my government. And I will not go public. You are, as a disciplined member of the ANC, you never go public to contradict your organization. Even if there are policies in there that you may not be enthusiastic about, but those are our organizational policies and you've got to respect them. Having said that, Under no circumstances is my position as president of CAF going to be used to embarrass, undermine any organization. And that is not only something I believe in, it's also an obligation and a duty I have as part of the rules and obligations of CAF and the rules and obligations of FIFA. Now, we are going to go into the presentation very quickly. Two quick other issues. What am I doing in football? You know, when I was approached and told, you must stand, I can't tell you what I told them because there are some young people around. But, you know, we are so busy. And I'm at the stage of my life where what I enjoy the most is the work of the philanthropy, which is led by my wife and the Motsepe Foundation and the wonderful work that my sons are playing in there. And I see Nkosana. Nkosana, you must come and help in your family foundation, just like they must come and help in the family foundation in Orlando and Dube and Orlando Pirates and, of course, Kaizer Chiefs as well and Amazulu, because I've got to unite everybody. So the point I'm making is that, you know, they came, I was asked 3-4 times, will you stand as president of CAF? I said, no, absolutely not. Because I've got enough challenges and enough headaches in my life. And the problem is, when I focus on doing something, it requires a lot of hard work, it requires a lot of sacrifice, and more importantly, it requires tangible, visible, accessible progress. You know, I'm sometimes honored that a number of the biggest companies in the world, they come and say, we want you to serve on our board. And I said, but what contribution am I going to make there? If I cannot make a contribution, there are other people who are better suited than I am. So after several discussions and meetings, I realized that in partnership with all of the presidents of Africa, in partnership with the CAF Exco, in partnership with all of my brothers and sisters here, there is indeed a unique role that all of us can play, taking into account the unique role of football in the hearts and minds of our people. And it's important, we've got what I call the 95% rule. So if I'm honored and privileged to be elected president of CAF, 95% of our discussions will be about football. Because I love football, we love football. I don't think there's anybody in Africa who's lost more money in football than I have. It's stupid love, you know, stupid, irresponsible, and sometimes, sometimes I've got to sign the check very quickly because if I see what the number is, and in fact, I mustn't even talk to my advisors, particularly when we buy players. But that's the beauty of the sport. But more than that, football has a role to play. And that's why I'm saying 95% of what we're going to talk about is about football. And African football must become the best in the world, will become the best in the world. It's not going to happen overnight. Nothing that's worth it happens overnight. But the test of what we are going to do over the next few years, you know, what happens in football? If we play soccer or football and we don't score goals, it doesn't matter how beautiful the sport is. You don't win. So we have to win. We have to win. And Africa has proven that we've got some of the best players in the world. So one of the strategies is to try and build the quality, the integrity, the competitiveness, the sustainability of football in Africa to be able to compete against some of the best in the world. Now, to talk and have all of these fancy ideas, it's wonderful. But what's more important is, what are we doing? What are the results? So the test for me is not so much what we are talking about now, it's what the results are going to be 2, 3, 4 years from now. Because, you know, like in 90 minutes, you've got to win in the 90 minutes. And all of us have to succeed, and the buck stops with the president. You've got to take responsibilities for failures and successes, whether you know, whether you don't know. So I'm absolutely confident that together, and there's some opportunities and there's some preliminary discussions that we've had, we will indeed, as the topic says, as our slogan says, make African football the best in the world. And when I talk to the presidents of football and my people like Moise and others over the next few years, they are the judges They are the people who will tell you, we think we are making progress. And the opposite is true. It's not what I think. I may think that, wow, we are making good progress. But the test is what they think. So I want to conclude by saying, remember the 95% rule, because sometimes when I talk about, you cannot separate football excellence, football competitiveness from economic growth, development, job creation, investment, and the growth of the African economy. You cannot. The two go hand in hand. So I don't want to bore people talking about how we are going to create jobs and how we get investment and how, and sponsorship is important. How we get the private sector to support and to sponsor. I looked at some of the COSAFA. Look at SAFA. Because part of the issue as well is, every African country, everyone, from Cape Town to Cairo, from Lagos to Nairobi, West Africa, East Africa, there has to be tangible progress and success, both in terms of the quality of football. And you will see at the end of the document, we talk about Pele talked in 1990. My brothers always remind us. In 1990, Pele said by the year 2000, an African club will win the World Cup. An African nation will win the World Cup. And as Dr. Jordan was saying, we were in Russia 2 years ago, and we did not qualify from the first round. But the talent is there. TV rights is an important thing. I saw something interesting. We spend so much money on the continent watching our own players play in Europe. But we don't spend equally a lot of money when they play for our national teams and when they play for our clubs in the continent. There's an exciting opportunity. So one of the issues is we're going to have to talk to the private sector, because the businesses that I'm associated with, we do business in 40 countries in Africa. So we succeed in Africa, we've got a duty to give back to Africa. And the way to give back is not to hold a gun to the head of the CEO of a company, but to talk nicely and persuade him. When you like, I've already got the woman I love, and I'm talking to my boys and Nkosana as well. When you see a girlfriend you like, talk nicely with her. Talk nicely, persuade, impress her, and you will succeed. So we're going to do the same with the private sector and say, guys, you make billions of rands. Come, and it's good for your business. So I want to conclude by saying 5% of what I talk about, and this is one of the things that excited me about the legacy we can build together on the African continent. We've got 280 million young boys and girls between the ages of 15 and 24, 280. A few days ago, I was driving in Kinshasa with my son, Moise. I tell you, we were driving in Kinshasa on Saturday, and there were thousands of people at night on the streets, dancing, singing, buying, making food. And they're trying to make a living, but we've got to provide a job for those people. And football has a unique role to play, not just in terms of the future it gives to our players and those who are involved in the African continent, but also a sense of pride. When Nigeria, Pinnick, won the Olympics in 1996, when Cameroon won the Olympics in 2000, that wasn't a victory for Nigeria only. That wasn't a victory for Cameroon only. It was a victory for Africa. And when an African nation is going to win the World Cup, and an African nation is going to win, Moise went further than all of us ever have in the FIFA Club World Cup Championship. Moise wasn't playing for the DRC. He was playing for Africa. And we want Moise to go one step further. TP Mazembe must not just be in the final. TP Mazembe can win. And it gives pride. It gives dignity. We use sports, just like the people in Barcelona use football as a means of asserting their pride and dignity and their culture. Just like historically in South Africa, our brothers and sisters who are Afrikaans speaking used rugby. And of course, sports unites all of our people. All right, the final thing I want to say before I rush through the 10-point plan, and I want to repeat, you've got the document, so I'm not going to go in detail because you've got it there, you can read it, is to emphasize the issue of governance and ethics. There are many companies all over the world who want to give money to football, but they want to be comfortable that the money will not go into the pocket of the leadership of football, and that the money will indeed be used to develop, to grow, to contribute towards the improvement in the quality of football in Africa. In the 10-point plan, you will see that we talk about certain specific things that we have to do. But more importantly, we put timelines. There are certain things that have to be done by a certain time period. I'm told that, in fact, if you look at the Constitution, CAF meets, all of the presidents meets once a year. Now you can't, when we are busy with fundamental reform, we need to have at least 2 meetings a year with all of the presidents. The best ideas in terms of how to improve, to develop, to make African football globally competitive, and globally competitive means it's quality football. It can come, South African and African clubs and Nigerian clubs and clubs from the DRC, football clubs, can compete against the best in the world. The best ideas, the people who know what we need to do in every country, are the presidents and the leadership of football in that country. And they are the best to tell us what the failures are, what the successes are. We have to change and improve physically, tangibly, practically, in terms of the infrastructure, and it's linked as well. It's linked to the youth. It's linked to our academies, you know, and it's linked to schools football. And Danny was talking about, we started the Patrice Motsepe after my mother, national schools football competition in South Africa, and there's about 7,500 schools that participate in the schools football. It's not just because of the passion we have in football, but because the future of football in Africa is our youth, both young boys and young girls. And the final thing I want to say is that there isn't this policy that one shoe fits all. The requirements of football development and growth and global competitiveness and sustainability. Sustainability means profitability. We want football in every country to be sustainable. And better still, Moise, if you can make money out of it, even better. But you must stop using the money of your wife and children. I mean, we've got this hola, you know, never end. It's a bottomless pit. And the only reason we do that is because we are passionate. We love the sport. But in our case, it's also, for us as a family, football is also a means to give back. To give back to the people of this country, to give back to the people of the continent who've made us what we are. I think I can now go and sit down. So I want you to look at what I'm saying now quickly, okay? You know, all of the pictures I see of myself, hey man, I become uglier and uglier and uglier. And of course, my poor wife keeps saying I become more handsome. And she's stuck with me, so she's got to keep saying, no, you are still okay. But the hair is gone, and you'll see in some of the pictures, the hair is still there. You look fabulous. Okay, so now this is Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm going to go a little bit faster so that we can take questions. This is Mamelodi Sundowns when we won the Champions League in 2016. Natasha, Angelo, the Crocs, Zola Mahobe, Dr. Itzwing, Sebotsane, all of the previous people who've made that club what it is, we are deeply indebted to them. And we will always be indebted with them, and the people of Tswane and the people of South Africa. So this was a great honor for us. And then when we brought Barcelona to play in South Africa, that's Lionel Messi, because we have to compete against the best in the world. That's how you know how ready you are, okay? So you read the statements, it's in there. Let me just make sure, because sometimes I'm going to tell there's something I should have said that I didn't say. Now, let me see. Okay, what I said is within the first 9 to 12 months, we are going to visit, and this is important. Within the first 9 to 12 months, I'm going to visit every single African country, everyone, and sit down with the leadership and talk about how do we, what are the priority development and growth projects? Because there may be 10 things we can do, but what are the 3 most important changes, interventions, measures we can take to make a significant improvement in the quality of football in the country, but also to get more supporters to come to the stadium, to watch us on TV, and to get the private sector, because we need money from the private sector. I mean, I will say in front of my brother here from Nigeria, one of the things we're going to do is to talk to our brothers in MTN. And I don't want to mention other companies. Say, but, you know, we are family. We make so much money out of Nigeria. Let's put a little bit, and it's good for business. We will make more money. I know in the businesses we're involved in, we make more money when we give more, when we invest more, when ordinary people in those countries feel that, look at what these people are doing. Not what they say, look at what they're doing. And we should support them and buy from them. So in the next 9 to 12 months, it's also important that we get every country in Africa to think about sustainability and to think about how do they become self-supporting. Okay, now the next one is when Algeria won the Nations Cup, very good. Some of the Algerian players play overseas. And then, of course, our very own Pitso Mosimane. Excellent work. I was very proud when I went to Doha a few weeks ago to see one of our own South African projects. It inspires many other young coaches. Say, oh, look at what Pitso is doing. I can also go to that level. And we want Pitso to go even to higher levels. Now you see, that's like Orlando Pirates is a family club. There's the other one. Can you see it? TP Mazembe. Okay? That's why, I always say that I went to a mission school, a Catholic school in the Cape, far away from here. I went there when I was 5 years old. And there was very English, and the Catholic priest said to me, your name is not Patrice, it's Patrick. This is an English country. And my father said to me, if I wanted to call you Patrick, I would have called you Patrick. There's somebody called Patrice Lumumba in the DRC. So very, very important. So when TP Mazembe does well, it's something that makes all of us very proud. And those who know our history, Philip, we are all one people. These borders are artificial. We are all one people. Siyabatshela laba amaswati ahlala lapha eSouth Africa. Ingwenyama yabo ihlala ngale. King Swati is the king of all of us. Do you understand that, Bomba? There's no king. I know that some people in Soweto think they're kings because there's no Swazi king in Soweto, so I'm the Swazi king. No. The border is artificial. The king of the Sothos is in Lesotho. We are all one people. The border, Philip, between our two countries divides families across the line. The DRC, I was in Rwanda 2 weeks ago. There's a restaurant called Inyoni. Inyoni. In Rwanda. What does Inyoni mean? It means the same thing in South Africa as it means in Rwanda. Bird. Ask them, go to Katanga, ask them to tell you the languages, the names of things. Those are the same names we have in South Africa. Back to football now. Now, the other thing is, we've got to increase the prize money. When Moise and Pirates and Chiefs, I must be careful, I must also mention Chiefs, because it's also another wing of the family. In the family we've got communists, we've got capitalists, we've got all of these people. And as long as we pray together and eat together, it's fine. Now, you've got, the prize money for winning the Champions League. We've got to increase it. And we can increase it. Because, we can pay the players more, and we can use some of that money to help us with the transport and all of the other expenses. So we've got to increase the prize money. The president of Total, the global company, His name is Patrick. I don't know how do you have a Frenchman with the name Patrick. Now, he's a friend. We know each other. We are part of the World Economic Forum. We are part of the IBC. He's one of the first people I'm going to visit. And I shouldn't maybe say it on TV. Don't cover that on TV, okay? Because it's a private discussion. But we need more prize money. And of course, the important thing is we've got to restructure the CAF Africa Cup of Nations in the next 2 years. Now, there was some discussion that it should take place once every 4 years. My apologies. Or whether it should take place once every 2 years. Now, I personally think it should take place every 2 years. But, you know, I have to be guided by the other presidents. And that's why we need a workshop with all of the presidents to talk about what are the priority issues. But as far as the African Cup of Nations is concerned, the CAF, Africa Cup of Nations, it takes place every 2 years. I know that there was discussions that it should take place every 4 years. I personally think as a starting point, it should remain every 2 years. We need the money. We need the money from the CAF competitions. And the club competition, the one that Moise has won many times, TP Mazembe, the prime club competition, add more prize money. Add more prize money for the Africa Cup of Nations as well, the AFCON Cup. So we will restructure these in the next 2 years, both the Africa Cup of Nations as well as the Champions League. Sorry, I'm changing things here rather than there. You can see those wonderful pictures. Now comes the issue of, look at it, implementing and adhering to governance and auditing global best practices. Now, this is non-negotiable. This is non-negotiable. You know, governance, transparency, ethics, auditing global best practices. Now, you've got to be very careful. You can't hope to be a president of an organization and you spend most of your time talking down or criticizing. What you have to do with a sense of humility is to recognize there's some good work that has been done over many years by previous presidents. In our culture, you never condemn a previous president, irrespective of your differences with him. So my starting point is to pay my respects to President Isaiah, say, good work. And to pay my respect to Ahmad. That's our culture. To say, you made a contribution. And to say, how do we work together? And the leadership of CAF, the CAF Exco, the starting point is to say, let's all work together and improve on those areas where there are weaknesses. You don't start by, it's like having an uncle in the family who's an alcoholic. It's not the aunt, it's usually the uncles. You don't start by saying, look at this alcoholic. Look at how embarrassing he is. He's your uncle. Say, okay, uncle, let's work on these issues. Let's see how we rehabilitate you. So the document there talks about FIFA. I mean, the governance policies of FIFA are an excellent guide, and of course we've got to comply with them. But the objective must be global best practices. And I can tell you when we do that, in every country, so far, in Nigeria, in Algeria, in Zimbabwe, in Mozambique, the good work that all of you are doing, we will get support and partnerships from the private sector. When we show them, come, let's talk about how do we make it more transparent, more compliant with governance, more compliance with auditing, global best practices. And they will support. And the same applies with CAF. And that's what I'm saying. One of the first things we have to do, and again, there's some good people who work at CAF. There's some good executives at CAF. There's some great employees. And also, but we recognize that there's a need for change there as well. We should increase the efficiency and the professionalism, both of the staff that works for CAF, and that's very important, but also of the competitions. You know, the way we run the AFCON, the way we run the Champions League. Dr. Jordan was talking about the game that we attended where the VAR was supposed to be there, but they didn't plug it. into the electricity system. So when the referee had to run and look at the VAR, I don't know what he saw there, you know, because the thing was not connected. Now, who is here now? Oh, that's one of my sons here, you know, at the World Economic Forum. And why I'm talking about the World Economic Forum, because this is one of the best institutions in the world in relation to, will you put back that thing there, please, that, will you put it back so that, Alex, you are very tall, so that, you know, there's no perception that the CAF logo, Alex, just 1 minute. It's supposed to cover that.
And we'll leave that presentation right there. That's Patrice Motsepe, who's vying for the CAF presidency, outlining some of the steps. He has a 10-point plan as to how he's going to develop African football should he receive the CAF presidency. And he talks there a lot about partnership, that being key.